Alright guys, so on to the last part of our install day. This is the Perrin Boost Control Solenoid, or the EBCS Pro. And we are going to basically install this in place beneath the car. So the car does have to be up in the air, of course. You want to give yourself some room, and you do have to remove that under tray. So if you're not sure how to do that, it's just basically a bunch of clips and 2 bolts, and it comes off. I've got it sitting up there. We're gonna get this guy installed. Combined with everything we've done thus far, it's really gonna complete the install and bring everything together so that when we load up our tune, everything's gonna run smoothly. Okay, so beneath the car here, to install the Perrin boost controller, you do have to keep your OEM boost controller installed. If you have this Perrin Turbo Inlet Hose, which I do. So I've got the OEM boost controller there. And what we're going to basically be doing is adding in the Perrin one. And it's going to take place of the OEM one. And we're just going to reroute some of the lines, but it's still going to be running through the OEM boost controller. But it's going to be connected through this main vacuum line that comes down from the boost controller that's there. So I'm going to get that put into place and get all the vacuum lines connected, and then I'll show you what it looks like after that. Alright, so I've just finished getting the Perrin boost controller all set up down beneath here, and it is a little bit overwhelming at the start because the way this works is you need to keep your OEM boost controller installed. So I have that right here. You then reroute all of the vacuum lines that connect to it to connect to the Perrin boost controller, which I've now got up here. So basically the main vacuum line that's going into the boost controller and through the turbo inlet hose now runs up and connects to the Perrin boost controller up here. Then these 2 vacuum lines come down from the Perrin boost controller here, and one connects to a vacuum line that goes up to that wastegate actuator there, and then the other one connects, it's really hard to see, but right against the turbo there. Perrin includes the vacuum line that you'll need to reroute all of this. It is pretty small, so it's a very snug fit. I did not take this heat shield off, but if I did, it might have been easier. But that's basically the gist of it. And then you connect the electrical connections. It's just all plug and play, so they can only fit one way. One goes into the harness coming from like your engine wiring harness up there, and then one goes into the old boost controller down here. And to my understanding, they're just gonna work together, and the Perrin boost controller is going to be the one doing the work that you need, and that just sits there, I guess, to connect to the turbo inlet hose. So everything's all wired up. The ground wire I actually wired up right there. You can kind of see it. It's on the bracket for the wastegate actuator. So that is the Perrin boost controller setup. This install did take me a couple of hours on the garage floor like this. And like I mentioned, it is a bit overwhelming because there is a lot to follow. So you need to look at the instructions like super carefully. And if you are doing this, just follow the lines that I did, and the instructions explain where they need to go to. And double check everything, make sure it's all snug and tight, and then you're good to go. Alright guys, so that is the installation process on the Perrin boost controller. The overall install took me just over an hour on my own here in the garage with the car just jacked up on stands. The hardest part is getting those vacuum lines onto the fittings or the pieces that they're connecting onto, because it's such a small vacuum line, you just really have to push to get them on there, and you're kind of pushing from an awkward angle if you're working underneath the car. You've got that one skid plate in the way, so you just have to work at it. It does take a little bit of time to get them on there. Once you've got them on there, make sure they're nice and snug, and you should be good to go. Now, depending on whether or not you have the stock turbo inlet hose or you've upgraded to the Perrin Turbo Inlet Hose like I have, the installation is different. So make sure you follow the instructions that come with it based on which inlet hose you have. Like I did, the OEM boost controller stays in place and the Perrin boost controller kind of runs through it. and basically overrides it, but you have to make sure you get all of those vacuum lines connected the proper way. So I couldn't really like film putting them on because like I said, it was so hard to get on, but just follow along where I showed each one needs to go to. It's pretty straightforward. There isn't really another way you could do it if you just follow the way those vacuum lines go. So the boost controller ultimately supports all of the performance mods that I've done on my WRX and going into a custom E-tune with Ron's tune. So if you're going down the road of modding your WRX and putting in the performance mods under the hood like I've done, like an intake and then doing all the other things, if you're gonna tune it, you need some form of boost controller. You could probably run the OEM one, but an aftermarket one is just so much better in every possible way, especially when you're tuning it like I've said. So make sure you know that you can't just pop this in without a tune. Alright guys, so that's it. I'm gonna wrap this video up here. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'll have a link to this boost controller over on Perrin's website. That's a specific link to me, so if you guys are interested in checking it out, I'd be very thankful if you used my referral link. And within there is a download link to see the instructions on installing this if you're wanting to see where those vacuum lines need to go up to before you buy it. You can check it out there. So thanks so much for watching guys, and as always I hope you're having a great day or night, whatever it is where you are.